Thank you for joining us on the Overcomers Overcoming podcast series, where we profile those who have overcome or those who are in the process of overcoming any life topic. We have 3 objectives with this podcast series. Our first objective is we want you to know that whatever you're experiencing in life, whatever you're encountering, you're not alone. We want to join you to let you know that we together can help you through whatever challenge you may have that at the time may seem too difficult to be able to overcome. Our second objective is to help you determine with a very confident resolve there are multiple solutions, multiple factors involved in any life encounter. It's a matter of thinking into and thinking through the life situation you are encountering to determine the various options, the various solutions that are available to you. Our third objective is to help you with critical thinking skills. If whatever you're experiencing is a result of a decision you made sometime in the past, such that if you had a life redo, you would make a different decision, we want to help you determine the objective facts and factors to evaluate to help you reach a more informed decision. I'm Ron Cooper, founder of the Cooper Culture. I'm with my wife and business partner, Marty. Together we are the Cooper Culture, and the Cooper Culture is sponsoring this podcast series. Today we have Kawan Glover joining us for the 4th episode, where he talks about life purpose, fulfilling a passion, and just, quite honestly, I think it's feeling good about yourself, knowing that you are doing what God has designed you to do, what God has designed you to be. Marty, what are some takes that listeners can gain from this podcast?
Ron, Kawan started out the podcast with, there are people in your life that they think they know what's best for you. They know you, and they know that, oh, this would be good for you. This is what you should do. But in your heart, you're just not there, and you're saying, this is not it. He says, keep on tracking, keep on going, and develop the confidence that you will find that sweet spot. And when you do, there's such a peace in your heart, you know you have to pursue it.
And listen closely to Kawan saying there are things I like to do, but those things I like to do are not necessarily in my sweet spot to where I'm getting total satisfaction, fulfillment. It's as if we're saying, I was born to do what I'm doing. Let's listen together. It's a great message. Kawan, great to have you back with us, and good to know that your recovery is on track, and your attitude is you're going to save your recovery as it happens, and you've got such a great attitude. For our listeners who may be joining us for the first time with Kawan Glover, I want to encourage you to go back to the first episode where Kawan talks about his surgery to remove a cavernous malformation, and he's in the recovery process of that. If attitude alone could bring about a medical recovery, I think you're the person who could make all that happen. Today, you've got such a great attitude. I think you have a lot that each of us can learn in believing in ourselves and having a life purpose. Some of us are uncertain just what, if any, value we have, and that may be linked with having a life purpose. And Kawan, I think you're uniquely gifted to be able to talk with us about that. So we're glad to have you with us again to gain some of your expertise.
Absolutely, Ron. I first of all, it's an honor to continue to be a guest on this podcast and to speak to your audience, because I hope someone is able to gain value from the things I say and the questions you ask. As far as self-belief or belief in oneself, that process is not something that just simply happens overnight. A lot of the times growing up, you identify or believe that you are supposed to be one thing, and then your life changes, things happen, and then your belief is shaken, and your reality is torn apart because you had identified as this person or this athlete or this stockbroker, something you identify with that now is And specifically in my case, I identified as, someone who was going to be a Wall Street baron or a financial analyst or a stockbroker. And then when everything happened in my case, I had to shed that shell and find myself anew. But it turns out the things that I'm pursuing now in my life, as far as storytelling, as far as speaking, as far as being an inspiration, is something that I had always done in my life naturally. And there are going to be things that you do in your life that others will say, oh, you're so good at that, or, you're always doing this, and you're going to write it off as something small. That those are usually indicators that you're heading down the right path towards your purpose. And a lot of that is missed in life because we don't believe in ourselves. We believe the narrative that others may have created for us. We believe the narrative that our family, friends, parents may have created for us. We believe that the narrative that the world around us has created for us, and we pursue that half-heartedly and don't get the things we want to attain in life, and we find ourselves lost. And I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like my job. I don't like the marriage that I'm in. And we feel purposeless. But that stems from a lack of self-belief in the things we're actually passionate about. And actually, self-belief is just confidence on the highest level in who you are and what you're meant to do. And that confidence actually means, and it stems from the Latin word fidelis, which means essentially trust, and con means with. So confidence actually means with trust. Self-confidence is the starter pack to put it lightly, the starter pack to believe. And when you have self-confidence, that essentially means trust in yourself. So there are going to be things you do in life that you think you're good at and you happen to fail at, or you happen to make mistakes on. But when you make those mistakes, you have to learn from them. It's not, oh, I made a mistake, let's move forward, because you only actually fail when you continue to make that mistake over and over again. So self-belief, when I say that, is having the utmost confidence in yourself. And it's easier to have that level of confidence when you already have a natural competence in that area. And that's why I said that when people point out the things you're naturally good at, those tend to be the things that will lead you toward finding the absolute purpose. So it's a process that can take place over months and years and decades. But when you find it, it hits you like a brick, and you'll never want to let that purpose go. And the belief you found will set your life on a path that you didn't believe was possible.
In your life, did you have, let's say, a close circle of friends who got to know you real well, and they either saw in you your talent to tell stories and so forth, or did you express that to them that I just like doing this? Can you describe a little bit more to our listeners, maybe over a period of several years, just how this came about to, I think what you're describing is affirm those things that you like doing and you're actually good at, to where you started to believe in yourself?
I started to notice in myself early on in life that I like reading stories, that I enjoyed listening to stories, that I really found great satisfaction in understanding narrative discipline. And then I got into college and changed my focus because I wanted to take myself more, quote-unquote, seriously. So I started looking at more the analytical side of money and stock market and things of that nature. But when all this stuff happened to me in college, I went back to those stories that I read about, the rings and the wizards and the unfortunate events. And then I started to create them. And then I first noticed in myself that, oh, I can do this. And then it was affirmed by other people when I first put out the book, the memoir about the events that occurred in college. Not only was it a touching story about, the things adversity that I had overcome, I'd hear things like, wow, you're a great writer. You actually put this story together. This is a great narrative. You're really good at this. And then when I started speaking, people would listen to the unique way I told my story and the unique way my voice sounded. So that's when I said, oh, I can speak as well. So writing and speaking was something that I noticed to myself, and that's a lot of times people do that but they ignore that. It's like, oh, I really can't do that because they're following the narratives of other people. But you first generally discover that talent in yourself, and then it's affirmed by that close group of friends. So I had family, friends, loved ones that did actually affirm it, and that's when I began to gain more confidence, more self-confidence, and that developed into belief. And now I'm pursuing that with a passion.
That is a great way to say that. So you developed a belief in yourself. It was affirmed through a close circle of friends. And the more you did it, the better you became through life, it appears. I'm only curious, for the aspiration you did have to be a stockbroker and so forth, has that just taken second place to what you're doing now, or have you just kind of forgotten that and you know that you're good at what you do and you're going to continue doing that?
Well, as far as specifically being a stockbroker, I have little to no interest in that lifestyle. I do pay attention to the financial markets. I am relatively knowledgeable about the things that happen on Wall Street, but I find greater joy and more gratitude in creating these stories and telling others my story and providing that inspiration and being the impetus for other people pursuing that purpose. So it's not second anymore. It's just something that I focus on in passing. But I greatly enjoy reading. I greatly enjoy telling stories. I'm actually writing a piece for a competition as we speak. And I just enjoy creating stories and being able to get others.
I think what you just said is extremely important for our listeners who are going through a process just like you did earlier in life. What you're saying is you have total fulfillment in fulfilling what you do in storytelling. Would you say it would be true, at least in your life and probably true in anyone's life, as you find a life purpose, as you find the niche in your life, you will necessarily have total fulfillment in doing that? And what I'm relaying now is asking you, total fulfillment versus, gosh, this is just a hard labor. I'm not even sure I want to do this kind of thing, but it's fulfillment that I'm asking you if that's what you can know to help affirm I'm doing what my calling is.
Absolutely. And when you talk about a purpose, it's not just something that you like to do, because I like to watch movies. I like to, write just senseless stories. I like to paint on occasion. I like to watch Netflix, but those are things that don't really contribute necessarily to my purpose. But there are some aspects of the things I can contribute to my purpose. But purpose is usually tied to what you are good at, what you love to do, but also tied to something greater than you. So my purpose is to tell stories or make up stories and inspire the world. It's not just for my own self-enjoyment. It's not just tied to my own selfish ambitions. I do this because my number one goal in life is to reach and touch the lives and inspire the lives of 1 billion people. A little ways behind that, but I'm going to keep pushing. And even if I never reach 1 billion people, I will have done my job by using my purpose to pursue that goal, that aspiration. And that's what, I'm playing an infinite game. A lot of people set a goal of, I want to run a marathon, or I want to play guitar, or I want to be the best at this sport. But that's a finite game. That has a goal post. That has an end game. An infinite game is something that you pursue lifelong, and that's what a purpose really entails. And with my creative endeavors, with my storytelling, with my speaking, that allows me to play the infinite game, because there's always someone somewhere that needs to hear what I'm going to say. There's always going to be somewhere or someone or group of people that are looking to hear a new story. And that's what I feel great fulfillment in being able to facilitate that and change the world with what I have to say and what I have to write.
Do you know of someone who can benefit from Kawan's message? It may be someone in your circle of influence who needs more purpose in their life, who is trying to find themselves the niche, the purpose something that is totally fulfilling in their life. If you know of someone that needs this message, I want to encourage you to share this message with them and draw them into it. Let's work with that person to help them find the fulfillment that they were designed to be.
That's a great way of saying it. My guess is each of us has read Simon Sinek's book, The Infinite Game, and we're not in it for a short duration. We're in it for the long term, and we're out for the greater good of other people. What I hear in your voice is you are not self-serving with your talent, your passion to tell stories, but it's through that you can advance other people. And that's what I admire, just one of the things I admire in you, Kawan, that you are out to help and advance other people. Help me with this, that how would a person differentiate what they think is something they're good at? But some people may say, well, you're just delusional, you are arrogant. How do you separate that from, no, others see, you feel that, no, this is definitely your calling, your purpose?
You know, when you're pursuing something like this and you really identify your purpose, it becomes the reason you get up each day. It becomes the reason you continue to breathe air. When you don't have a purpose, your will to live sort of lessens and you just go through the motion. It's like when you're driving a car and going the same route every day, you typically sometimes look up and say, how did I even get here? You do it without thinking. But when you're writing, or when I'm writing, or I'm speaking, or I'm doing something that aligns with my purpose, I am ever present in that moment. With every word I type, with every word that I say aloud, with every live that I touch, with every conversation that surrounds what I'm doing, I'm present in that moment. It is the reason I get up and continue to be motivated to push forward. It sustains me. You know, if I get a chance to write or share my story or inspire someone to pursue their purpose, I am invigorated. I'm re-energized. I'm out of pursuing my purpose gets me out of a slump. Pursuing my purpose gets me to go running in the morning, fills me with energy. This is my cup of coffee. A lot of people are going to say, you're not making any sense, you're delusional, you're arrogant. What makes you any expert on that? And when those voices get quiet and you can't hear them because you're so focused on this one thing, and you can tell that it's improving your life and it's giving you real satisfaction, it's giving you real reverence for the art and what you're doing, that's when you know you find your purpose. When you think something you like or it feels like something you like, then it's probably not. When you know that what you're pursuing, what you're going after, what you're doing is your purpose, you know you don't have to think or feel any type of way about it.
What a great way to say it, that as you are pursuing your purpose, your life goals, it's not labor. It's not something you have to do, and it's certainly not a trite expression as you're expressing it, Kawan. I don't have to do it. I get to do it. This is my passion. I wake up happy. I wake up wanting to do this. It's a part of life passion. It's a part of a fulfillment. At the end of the day, that I think what you're saying is that as I am pursuing my purpose, as I'm going after my life goals, I am fulfilling my life. And for those who are faith-based, it's possibly God's calling in your life that He has uniquely equipped you with these talents and gifts. Is that at least in part how you look at it?
Absolutely. A purpose and for the faith-based community, that is typically a calling, something you were ordained or anointed to do. This feels like that's what it was. I went through the adversity and, it routed me for a moment in time, and it shook all my beliefs loose. But sometimes you have to, through life you get scars and you carry baggage with you, and adversity will shake that loose. It will send a shockwave through your system, and you lose those baggages, you lose those extra weights. And when you're light and you can see clearly, your purpose will reveal itself to you in stages. And when you pursue that purpose and actively instill your values into yourself, encompass the lessons you've learned, and find something that you're good at and that you love doing and that you get to do, not have to do, that aligns. And you just have faith in yourself every day to continue to do it. I think, that's part of what drives me to continue doing this, because I love writing. I love creating stories. I love sharing my story to see the light in other people's eyes come on, because they know they can, too, get through adversity. They, too, can pursue their dreams. When people talk about their dreams, Ron, you can look in their face and see their eyes light up. You can look in their face and see that change when they bring up something they're really passionate about. And that's what happens to me when I get to share my story or talk about a story I'm writing or get the chance to speak on stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people. I live for that. And it's almost like if I wasn't able to do that anymore, I don't think there would be a reason for me to be here, so I would back home. But for now, I still have a reason to do it. I still want to touch billions of people. It's bigger than me, so I'm going to continue to pursue it with purpose, and I'm going to continue to do it with vigor. And that's just my life's mission now, and I am dedicated 100%.
Talk to the person who is just firmly resonating with you right now. Man, they can hear the passion in your voice, and they're thinking that, wow, Kawan, he knows exactly where he's going, what he's doing. I, the listener, am not at that point yet. I'm not certain what value I have. I'm not certain how to even determine the level of certainty that I'm listening to Kawan. What would be the call to action, Kawan, that you would tell this listener if you had the ability to talk to them one-on-one? How would you help them just get a start in believing in themselves? Let's just say this person says, I've tried a lot of different things and I've not completed or just haven't found that level of satisfaction yet. So I'm not even sure what I'm good at. How would you approach that person?
Well, in that last phrase, Ron, the key word is yet. And you may have tried everything or quote-unquote everything. I hear that a lot. I've tried everything, and they're all telling me I can't do this. First of all, you haven't tried everything. Second of all, I don't know who they is. But in that phrase, Ron, you said yet. So there are going to be things, and sometimes some of us are more fortunate than others, where the purpose reveals itself to you, where the purpose is forced upon you. And I think that's, for me, that was my case where I kept saying I was going to be a Wall Street broker. I was going to be this and I was going to be that. And the universe or God or whatever you believe in was just like, look, I know what your purpose is, so I'm going to move everything out of the way so you can do it. That's one way things happen. And then there's other ways, like when you say you've tried everything. First of all, I don't believe in the word try. Either you do or you do not. When you try something, that's an escape clause, because you can say, well, at least I tried. But you may not have given your effort, all your effort to something. So I say in the things you quote-unquote tried, put more effort into them. And if they don't serve you or cause negative effects or impacting people around you negatively, then let those go. But take the lessons you learn from doing them and into things that you find more appealing. And then listen to the things others tell you you should do. Like I often get a lot that, hey, if you were a therapist, I'd sign up. Get in conversations, and people will point out little things that you might not take notice of, or small things that you notice you're good at or don't think much about. Pursue those endeavors and find out what the crux of, what the core, what the origin of this interest, what the origin of this competence come from, and pursue those things with all your vigor. See what you can learn from them, see what you can take out of them, and if they don't work, it's okay to put those things down and pursue something else. And then you're going to come to a point where it's like, well, I have kids now. I have a wife now. I have a husband now. I have a spouse. Like, I can't take the risks that you used to be able to take. I don't believe in can't either. You can. It's just a matter of deciding what you're willing to give up to get a better life. And certainly you don't want to give up your marriage or your children, but there are going to be other concessions you need to make in your life. I was living on my own for a while, but in order to pursue what I'm pursuing, in order to build my career and my foundation in this arena that I've entered into, I had to move back in with my parents. I had to sell my car. I had to get rid of a lot of things. Like, what sacrifices are you willing to make? Because there's no easy way to put it. You have to give something to get something. That's the law of the universe, the law of reciprocity. I had to give up some things that I held dear to pursue something that I found was my purpose. Because at the end of the day, this will serve me on a bigger platform, on a bigger level, on a larger, more meaningful mission in my life than I could have been pursuing finance simply for the monetary goal. So find out what your why is for existing, and then the how and the what will show up soon after.
Well, you are a very inspirational person, Kawan, and I think part of your message is never give up. You have a life purpose. It's just a matter of finding what that is, determine your niche, and pursue it with vigor. You're a very inspirational person, and Kawan, thank you for sharing, buddy. This is great stuff. Don't ever give up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ron.
Thank you, Kawan. We appreciate you, brother.
Did Kawan's message stimulate your thinking? Perhaps you are wondering if I'm serving a life purpose, if I'm serving in a way that is fulfilling my passion. Do I wake up in the morning knowing that I have the opportunity to pursue my life goals through my passion, through what I'm doing? Am I learning all the time? Am I leaning forward, if not literally, mentally, to learn more of what I can do to advance my purpose, my passion, how I can advance people? Kawan's message was a great one, and it is a matter of discerning who you are, what you're good at, having people of like values, people who love you, affirm what it is you are good at, and it could take several years for this to come about. But we do need to differentiate, as Kawan and Marty were saying, the difference between what others may think we're good at and really deep in our soul, we know we are good at, we are totally satisfied, fulfilled in what we're doing. As we say, it may take a while for you to determine exactly what that is, what that passion is, the topic that you want to pursue. And it may change through life. There's nothing wrong with doing something at one part of your life and then making a change at a different part of your life. It does not mean that you are unsettled. It just means that your life perspective, your life experiences have changed and you want to pursue something different. But are you having any challenges? Or do you know of someone within your circle of influence who is having a challenge determining their life purpose, having a total fulfillment in their life? We hope that you will want to share this with that person. We hope that perhaps we can engage together, and we hope that we will engage together in sharing ideas, helping others to achieve their life purpose. We hope we can warrant a 5-star rating. We hope you'll want to subscribe to this podcast series, share this podcast with others, and engage with each other. You might also know of someone, perhaps yourself, who is having just the real difficulties trying to determine exactly what their life passion is. It is possible that there are things that have occurred in your life sometime in the past that are obstacles to you achieving your full life purpose. Marty and I are certified life performance coaches through John Maxwell. We would like to help you work through any challenges you may have so that you too can fulfill your life goals. You can have that sense of total fulfillment, that you are working in your life sweet spot and that you are fulfilling your life goals. Let's work together, and if we can help you in any way, if we can speak to your organization about any of the life goals that we have worked our way through and the pursuits that we are having right now, we'd like to share with you what we have learned so that we can help you and your organization advance. Let's do share together. Contact us at ron@thecooperculture.com or Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, @thecooperculture.com, or call us 410-586-1875. We look forward to the opportunity of sharing with you and advancing other people.